So you've got some tight hamstrings. Well, at least that's what I'm assuming because you clicked on this video. Not to worry, I will take care of you today. I'm going to show you 6 of my favorite techniques and stretches to help alleviate tension in your hamstrings and help you to feel better. Let's do it right now. What's up, guys? Hey, Jared Beckstrand here, doctor of physical therapy, toneandtighten.com, talking all about tight hamstrings today. That muscle in the back of your leg, it can cause discomfort back here when they're tight. It can pull on your pelvis. It can put strain on your lower back. Lots of problems can arise from tight hamstrings. It's important that we keep them stretched out. It's important that we keep them mobile. And that is my purpose in today's video. Now, before we jump right in, you guys know me. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to explain the anatomy to you so that you can understand why these stretches and exercises are going to be effective in treating your pain. Now, you've got 3 hamstring muscles. They all originate right up under your glutes, right on that sits bone. They come down the back of your leg, they cross the front, and they connect right into the front of your tibia. Now, that being said, when they contract, they bend your knee, but they also extend your hip just because they cross that hip joint. So whatever stretches that we're going to do, in order to put those hamstrings in the maximum elongated position, we need to actually flex at the hip as well as extend at the knee. And so those are the stretches that I want to share with you today. Now, before we jump right into those stretches, it's important that we take some time and prepare the muscle for those stretches. Get it warmed up, get it loosened up before we actually stretch it out. I like to do that with massage, and I like to do that with a myofascial release technique. And those are the 2 things that I want to start with. Let's do it right now. Now, when we talk about self-massage and fascia release, in my opinion, there's no better tool to have than a foam roller. They're cheap, they're versatile, and there's a ton that you can do with them. If you don't have one, check the link in the description to this video. I've actually got a link down there to this one. Again, this is a medium density foam roller. It's the one that I have here in my house, and I just love the way that it feels. So let's talk about, first and foremost, rolling out your hamstrings with a foam roller. Now, to do that, what I like to do is actually start by sitting on the foam roller, and right here, I can use my hands and I can use my feet to kind of control where that foam roller is. Your hamstrings, again, go right up onto that, what they call ischial tuberosity, that sits bone. It sits deep to your glutes. And so the first thing that we can do is kind of massage and mobilize that high hamstring right here in this position. What you can then do, what I like to do, is get my hands back here behind me. I'm going to bend one leg up. So right now I'm going to roll my left leg with my right leg bent. And then I can use my hands and my leg to continue to just kind of pull through that foam roller. And then I can work my way down all the way back behind my knee and then all the way up to where that sits bone is. I would spend about 1 to 2 minutes on the left leg doing those techniques, 1 to 2 minutes on the right leg, getting that ready to go, and then you're ready for stretching. If you don't have the foam roller, I've got one more fascia mobilization and soft tissue release technique that I'll show you right now. Now, if you don't have that foam roller readily available, another great technique simply involves a firm chair and a softball or baseball or lacrosse ball. Any small, firm ball will get the job done. What we're going to do here is a kind of flossing mobilization technique. I'm going to sit on the edge of the chair, take that softball and tuck it right up, right at that attachment site to my hamstring. Now, as the weight of my leg puts pressure on there, I can then move that muscle on top of the ball simply by extending and flexing my knee. And you guys will feel that. You can spend 10 to 20 seconds in one spot, and then we can move it down a little bit further. We can spend 10 to 20 seconds in another spot. You might find an area that it's particularly tender or particularly tight. So that's another great technique to get your muscles ready to move and to stretch, which is what we're going to jump into right now. The first hamstring stretch I want to show you is one of my favorites because it's so simple and yet so effective. This is a seated hamstring stretch. Now, to do this one, I have this therapy table which works wonderfully. I don't suppose you have one of these at home. Your kitchen table works great, or your bed also works really well for this. What you're going to do is sit with one leg extended out in front of you, the other leg is bent and down on the ground. Now, for a lot of you, this might even be a pretty good hamstring stretch, but there are some ways that we can make this even more effective. Here, this is my stretch out strap. This is one of my favorite tools to use for stretching at home and in clinic. If you want a link to this one, check the description down below. But a belt, a towel, a sheet, anything like that is going to work well for the next 3 or 4 exercises that I'm going to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that strap and I'm going to put it around the top of my foot. Now in this position, I have some leverage to pull with. So I can pull here. That's going to create a good stretch in that calf muscle. You're going to feel that also back behind your leg. But then I also want you to lean forward. Now, the key there is I want you to keep your back straight. I don't want you to round forward like this. You see how my back is rounding out. So sit up nice and straight, and then as you maintain that arch in your lower back and simply lean forward with it, all of a sudden you're going to get a massive stretch right in the back of the knee, in the calf, and you're going to feel that up in the hamstring. I don't need it to be a massive stretch. Let me point that out. Stretching should always be comfortable. So I want you to hold that position, lean forward to the point where you feel a comfortable stretch in the back of your leg, back of your hamstring. You're going to hold that for 20 seconds, and then you're going to repeat that 3 times on the right leg, and then you turn around and do that 3 times on the left leg. Next, let's roll into a supine hamstring stretch. And so this one I like because we can actually vary where you feel it in your hamstring. You can vary where you feel the stretch. I'm going to come down into this position, lay down on my back, and so my left leg is in this strap. Again, you can use a belt, towel, sheet, rope, anything you've got at home. My right leg is extended out straight. Now, in this position, I can use my hands to pull that leg up towards me until I get a good stretch in that hamstring muscle. Now, for me, and for most people, with my knee extended, as I pull on that, I feel a pretty sharp stretch right behind my knee. The key that I like to show people here is that if you introduce just a slight bend in your knee, all of a sudden you can pull that leg further until you get to that new end range of motion. No longer is this the limitation. All of a sudden you're going to feel that a little higher up in your hamstring. So as I pull, for me, I feel that one about right there. You can even unlock a little bit further, pull a little bit further, and all of a sudden now I feel that even up here higher in my hamstring. So depending on the degree of bend in my knee, I can vary where I feel that stretch in my hamstring. So I tell people here, hold it for 20 seconds in a tight position, unlock a little bit, hold it right there for another 20, unlock a little bit more, and you can hold it there for 20. 3 times 20 seconds on the left, 3 times 20 seconds on the right. Now your next stretching technique is probably the most aggressive, but I feel like it's also the most effective. We're going to do what we call a contract-relax technique with this one. So how we're going to do this, I'm going to pull until I feel a good stretch in my hamstring. And what happens is that my hamstring, my brain actually turns my hamstring on, creates a little bit of tension in that muscle to prevent it from going any further as a protective mechanism. What we can do is actually turn off that signal by contracting that muscle for about 3 to 5 seconds. So I'm going to pull up in this direction until I get a good stretch in my hamstring, but now I'm going to activate that hamstring muscle. I'm going to try to bend my knee and then pull my leg down towards the table. So it's kind of like a knee bend and pull down towards the table. That's the motion that I'm contracting. And then I'm going to hold that for 1, 2, I'm holding that contraction, 4, 5. And now as I relax, all of a sudden I can pull a little further into that stretch. I take it to this new end range of motion, and then I do the same thing. I try to bend my knee, and I try to push my leg down to the table to fatigue that hamstring. 3, 4, 5, and then when I relax again, all of a sudden now I can pull up into this new end range. That's where I'm going to hold this for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then I'm going to relax. You could do that same thing on the other side, and you could do that a couple of times. Okay, so now the beauty of this final stretch is in its simplicity. There's no belt or strap or anything like that. You don't have to lay down to be able to perform it. All you need is a small elevated surface. So like a stair or a step, a stool, a curb. There's lots of things that you could potentially use. I've got a little footstool here. Let's show you this standing hamstring stretch. What you're going to do is put your heel up onto that surface in front of you, stand up nice and straight, nice and tall, maintain that curve in your back, and then lean forward until a good stretch is felt in your hamstring. The thing that I see most people mess up on this one is they think I need to get down towards my toe. The goal is to touch my toe. That's not the goal at all. What that does is that actually rocks your pelvis posteriorly. It brings that ischial tuberosity closer to the back of your knee and decreases the tension in your hamstring. So if I round my pelvis underneath myself like this, you'll see I can come way down here, no problem. I don't even feel a stretch in my hamstring. Whereas if I keep my pelvis rocked forward in this anterior tilt position, that's going to take that origin further away from your insertion. Even just doing that increases the tension in my hamstring. Now if I maintain that curve in my lower back and lean forward, meaning rock my pelvis even further forward, I can only go that far before that hamstring feels a significant stretch in it. Again, I want you to take it to the point where it's a comfortable stretch. You're going to hold it right there for 20 seconds, repeat that 3 times, and then you can do that on the other side as well. Now, the last question that you have for me, the thing that I always get asked when I shoot a video like this, is, Jared, how often should I be doing these exercises? My answer there is 3 times a day would be spectacular, 2 times a day would be adequate. If you stick to that in the long term, you should notice a significant relief to your hamstring tightness. So make sure you come back to this video regularly and perform these stretches with me so that I can help you with your tight hamstring condition. If you guys want more great stretching videos, here are 2 of my favorites right here. If you haven't subscribed to Tone and Tighten on YouTube yet, smash this circle button right here. I'd love to see you back for a future video. I'd love to help you out in the future. Until next time, we'll see you again right here on Tone and Tighten.